So, hey guys, I would like to share something about the rendering of the Blender system. So, as we all know, when you try to render something in Blender, you go up here to render, and then you press render image, right? And there's like totally nothing wrong with that. It's just that sometimes there are render problems and you just can't seem to get your render going, right? Something like this, for example. You kind of get this kind of error. Blender has stopped working. And you have to spend perhaps an hour or 2 hours trying to debug why your Blender crashed, right? And for me, I totally couldn't be bothered trying to figure out what the heck's happening. I mean, I did, but in the end, I couldn't because it was as the result of the UI crashing while I was rendering. It was just this particular scene that was very heavy, and the UI couldn't handle it. So, for now, this is a simple scene. So, Blender is not struggling to render this. I will stop this now, and I would like to show you the rendering from the command line. Just close this. Yep. Yep, thank you. So, well, first, what you want to do is actually make sure that your settings in the project file is correct. For me, what I do, I check two things. One is the render, here we go, just the render here, and not the viewport, but the render here, right? Render. And then I check the max samples. This current render is just a preview, so you know, I don't really need to bump it up to like 1,000, for example. So 100 is okay. And I have the denoise on, and I put the use GPU because I think it's faster. And everything else, I just keep it okay. The light pass, I don't really bother with it for this one. And then the next one, I go to output, and I make sure the output's correct. What I did here is like I have my let's see, my Blender file, and then on the Blender file path, I tell it to make a render folder, and then a test. Let's see if I can pull it from here and show you. Um, I already made a render folder, but if you don't have a render folder, I can just totally delete this. And when you render, Blender will totally make a render file for you. You know, it'll be happy to. So, yes, but this is where all my Blender files live, and it'll make the render file here. So this is how it is. And so when I made the render file, I wanted to give it a name, right? So I named it test underscore. And the reason why I named it test underscore is that Blender likes to put a frame number after this. So you render this out, right? And then after you render it out, the name will be like test underscore 0001, which is the current frame number. And then it'll go PNG, like that, right? So definitely we'll add these two. And to make it clean, I'm just putting an underscore here. So just leave it like that. I'll remove that. And there it is. And then here I just want an image, just a PNG right here. I don't want a alpha because I'm not compositing anything. I just want a full final beauty render. So it's RGB. 8-bit's okay. Because it's just a preview, and compression, everything default here. And color management, well, you don't have to touch for now, unless you're having some studio workflow. And that's about it. And make sure you save. And then I save by using the BetterPie add-ons right here. Just save, but the shortcut is just Control S. Yes. And by the way, like if you want to know if your, let's see, yes, your project file is not saved, you can go up to the top left here, and you see this little asterisk here. This means that your Blender file hasn't been saved since the last change. And this is pretty useful, and I think you would see it in the computer world, this asterisk mark. And whenever you have it, it's like, please save, or else your um, project is probably not going to be saved. So please save. So I save, and that's it. And now we go to rendering. So the rendering, what we do is just open up a PowerShell right here, and this is totally what I did when I was testing. But yes, before we get into the the command, right? I mean the actual putting in the command. I would like to go through a little bit of the what we're actually going to put in. You know, so to put it simply, what we do is actually tell where the blender.execute is. For me, I'm using Blender 5. So it's in the Blender 5 folder. This is where I installed it. And I am facing it towards the blender.execute. And then the second one, I want this to run in the background without the UI, so it has the flag of B. And here is where my current Blender file lives. Yes, my name is not here. My name is definitely not Leaf. But yes, so this is it. And then scene, the flag scene is actually here, up here that you can see. In this Blender file, I only have one scene, and this is the default scene, so I just name it scene. But it's nice to have, I guess. The next is a render animation. If you have this, it will render all of the animation, well, the frames that you have in your project folder, right? I mean, not the project folder, the project file. Man. And then so, I only have one frame here, so it will just render one frame, really. But if you have like 100 frames, it will definitely render 100 frames, all of the frames. Debug cycles, I'll show you later. This comes in handy when you're trying to render and see if the render's done and stuff. And last but not least, the cycles device, OptiX. And you can totally see it here, but if you go back to the Blender UI and you go to System, I'm in System already, and Cycles Render Devices, OptiX. I want to use OptiX. Right now, I guess I had troubles with CUDA, and ever since I switched to OptiX, I haven't had a problem, so don't change what's not broken, I guess. So I just leave it to OptiX. So back to the notepad. And yes, here it is. And what's this? What did I write here? Ah, yes. Maybe I can mention this, but I don't know. I think it's self-explanatory. I can't speak. Uh, but I can explain it here. If render test I have is in the output path, right? And let's say you saved your Blender folder. I keep saying folder file. In like downloads, right? You saved it in downloads, and then in there you have like a Blender file folder. I'm getting confused with file and folder, but folder. And then let's say this project file is called cat dot blend, right? Because blend is the extension of the Blender file. And then now this is where comes the render, right? So these two slashes mean the current directory that your blend is residing in, right? So it'll take cat blend, and then here in this directory, it'll make a render folder, and then it will put your render in here. And like I said before, Blender likes to put its file name, frame number, and then its extension right here. So this is what I will get. Right. So I hope that didn't confuse you, and I hope, well, if you have any questions, please put it in the comment section. Yes. Yeah. But yes, no, but I did not come from like a computer background, so this thing was confusing as heck for me. But I'm sure there's many smart people out here, so they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I totally noticed. You don't have to explain this." But yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I hope that didn't bore you. But yeah, let's go back to the render command line. And yes, did I explain this? Yes, I did. Okay, so we copy this, and we want to make sure before executing it, you want to save your file. Yes, because it will read from the latest blend file. So save, and then go back to command line, PowerShell, Windows PowerShell, and then you right click, and then it gives you a warning that tells you, are you sure you know what you're doing? Of course, I totally know what I'm doing, so I want to paste anyways. And then I press enter, and then first what you get is Blender 5.01, which I'm using. And next what I get is a bunch of error garbo logs because I do not clean my add-ons folder, and that is something to do as a good practice. Yes, it's very important because sometimes it can ruin your renders. It will not start your renders. So yes, but if we go down and ignore it, we see that Cycles has started up, starting scene, engine cycles, and is rendering frame 1. I have frame 1, and is getting all the objects, right? And you can see, if you just scroll down, scroll down, now it's rendering, right? After gathering all of the lights and whatever. And the way to know that is to check sample. If you look at the keyword sample, it is rendering, right? Sample 1 over 100, 2 over 100, blah, 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 so forth. And it's 48 right now. So, and yeah, I think I'll skip this part, and then I'll come back to you guys after the render is done. Okay, guys, the render is done. And the way to know that is check here. Sorry, guys. My gosh. Sample 100 over 100 is done. And then after that, you get a lot of blah blahs, which you want to check if you want to. But this is all part of the debug. Oh my gosh, I can't stop coughing. And yeah, and it's done. And after when your render is done, Blender will quit, as it says here. So let's go to the output where we saved it. And for me, it's in here. And it's this is where all my project files live. And in the project file, you can see render here. And ta-da! Here is my render. I got a cough. Oh gosh. Yes. So here's my render. And that's it. You know, it's very nice. If you ever have problems with your rendering, you can totally try out this command line rendering. And yes, I hope it helps everyone. And if you have any questions, please put it down on the comment section below, and I'll try and answer. Thank you, guys.